Welcome back to another episode of 4Expedition Adventurer. In this episode, we venture out to explore new locales around the picturesque Moreno Valley, and along the way, I catch you up on exciting advancements of 4Expedition. Join me for fun in the beautiful mountains and canyons of northern New Mexico.
The next episode of 4Expedition Adventure starts now. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of 4Expedition Adventure. I'm Scott Leuthold. Today I'm coming to you from a variety of different locales around the Moreno Valley. The Moreno Valley is located at high elevation in the Rocky Mountains just south of the Colorado border in New Mexico. I now live in Angel Fire. Angel Fire, New Mexico is located in the south central part of the Moreno Valley. It is an exceptional area for outdoor adventure, and I am just so thrilled to be here. In fact, I have to pinch myself almost every day. I feel like I live in a national park. It is just truly exceptional. There's not a lot of people here because there's no major metropolis anywhere nearby. The closest city is about 2 hours away, which is Santa Fe. I think there's around 80,000 people there. The next closest city is Albuquerque. There's about 600,000 to 1 million people in that area. So you really don't have a lot of population. It is just a beautiful place. So what I thought I would do is drive around to a couple different locales around the Moreno Valley, stop, capture some beautiful footage, and share with all of you some things that are going on in my life so you get a little idea of what's going on and what's to come with 4Expedition Adventure. I'm really looking forward to sharing this episode with you, so sit back and enjoy the ride. Well, first things first, I've been waiting to close escrow on the cabin. It's been a while. It wasn't originally scheduled to close escrow until about June 17th. My realtor had told me he thought it would close escrow much quicker than it has. We were waiting on the current owner to provide a deed. Apparently when they acquired the property, it was in probate. And they live in Texas, so they filed the deed in Texas, and that deed has to be filed here in New Mexico. So we were waiting on the owner's attorney to find those documents and send those documents to us. So now we're in possession of those documents now, and the title companies reviewed them. We're nearing escrow close, hopefully by Friday. If not Friday, it would more than likely be next week. And I'm really eager to get the property, that's for sure. First things first on the agenda when I get the property is to get a dumpster and start gutting out the inside. It's pretty old. It's got a lot of furniture, accessories, and things that are just going to come with it. It's a hunter's cabin, so it has electricity. It does not have running water or plumbing. And so the first thing I'll be doing is gutting the whole cabin, taking out the main interior wall, which divides a bathroom from a kitchen, making it a big open room. And once that's done, we'll take a chainsaw and cut a hole in the back of the cabin and put a pretty good-sized addition on the back, which will include a master bedroom, a master bath, and a closet. And that should almost double the size of the cabin. I want to get it ready for the winter. I plan on staying there for the winter. Once we get all of the exterior built out and the exterior textures put on, which I plan on doing some maybe vertical pine and some cultured stone, and enclosing the whole bottom of the cabin because it sits on a platform on pylons. Then we'll probably rewire the cabin, and then I'll more than likely put in some sort of a plumbing system with an above ground heated water tank system to get through the winter. And then my big plan is for next May to finance the cost of a 40 by 60 barn, which will be divided into 2/3, 1/3, and the 1/3 will be divided again in half. And I eventually plan on putting 2 apartments in there for Team 4X members and different people to come and experience workshops on the property with me. And all of you might consider attending some of those workshops in the future. But more than likely, I'll put an apartment in the back of that 1/3, and in the front, I'll leave it wide open and plumbed and ready for another apartment. But in the meantime, I'll use that as a 4Expedition meeting room and a place for me to do my my product fulfillment. So that's kind of the plan for the next, I would say, 12 months. So this summer, it's all about building on the addition onto the cabin, gutting out the inside, redoing the floors, redoing the whole kitchen, putting a bathroom in. More than likely for the winter this year, since I won't have a septic system, I will more than likely run some kind of a composting toilet system, and we'll get that place totally ready to live in for the winter. I'll more than likely put in a hybrid wood-burning, pellet-burning stove in the corner in the living room. So it should be a pretty nice place to spend the winter. And to be honest, I'm really looking forward to sharing episodes throughout the 4 seasons on the property. So as you can tell, I'm very eager to get it. You've all been, I'm sure, watching and following along and waiting for me to close escrow just as much as I have. And I believe that will happen this week or next week. And when it does, there will be a pretty big celebration, and I'll share all that with you as well. So we came down off the mountain from Angel Fire down into Taos. Spent a little bit of time driving up to Taos Ski Valley. Decided to stop along this beautiful creek here. What an extraordinary place. The water is just crystal clear. All the trees are covered in beautiful bright green leaves. So pretty. What a paradise for an adventurer like myself and like Heather. So I wanted to talk about the next subject for this video, and that is I'm working on planning an Overland event for the Moreno Valley up in Angel Fire area. In fact, I just partnered up with a gentleman named Damon LeBlanc, and he lives up in Angel Fire. And as you might have seen on this latest video of mine, Damon was the organizer of that Jeep event that I took you on, the Go Topless event. But Damon and I decided to partner up, and we created a new LLC, a New Mexico LLC called Enchanted Circle Ventures, EC Ventures. And so we're working together to start planning an Overland event to be held in Angel Fire, hopefully in the summer of next year. So one of the things we've been doing is we've been going around and touring a couple of different ranches. There's 2 ranches we've visited so far. I'll show you pictures here in just a minute. But we yesterday afternoon we spent part of the day touring a 4,000 plus acre ranch owned by a really nice guy named Landon Dooley. And his ranch is only about a mile or 2 up the road from my property that I'm acquiring. And so we went out on the property and we took these awesome little dirt bikes and toured around the property. And it could be a really great place for us to host a really special Overland event where there's workshops and things like that. I'm sure many of you are familiar with different kinds of Overland events, and this one would be fairly similar, but ours would be more along the lines of a full, complete outdoor adventure expo, if you will. And so that's something we're working on. So why don't I just take a second here and show you a little bit of footage from yesterday's experience out there on the ranch. It was really fun. Going to go explore a ranch here in Angel Fire as a possibility for a place to host an event. And we're going to take these little guys around in order to do it.
Right here, this goes into 3 trails. This one goes left up toward the top of the mountain. This one is the harder trail. This is the one I think would be good for off-road.
Okay.
You know,
So we could, for the workshops, winch workshops, things like that?
Pretty tough, pretty rocky, and this one goes runways and stuff with water and all that.
Cool.
And this way is the way we're going to go. This is the way that takes you up to the best part.
So Damon and I are working on putting together a nice Overland event here in the Angel Fire area, and so we've been checking out a couple of ranches in the nearby vicinity. This is the second one we've checked out, and this one is an awful lot of fun. This is something like in the neighborhood of 4,000 some acres, and it's just an extraordinary place to host an event. So we're out here touring on mini bikes and just having an awesome time. You gonna put an off-grid cabin here?
Yeah, well, that'd be cool too, but I kind of just want to make it a campsite.
Hike-in.
A hike-in only, you know? Because it's too hard to get a truck and stuff back up in here. But it's the view that does it for me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So look at the dogs.
There, you made it.
Oh, hey, buddy.
So in this, I was just thinking, I don't know, because that one is a little bit rougher than it was last time. I think the water might have washed this out a little bit there, but really, this road does connect all the way back around, and there's like 4 loops, like a clover, basically, and the barn's kind of the center.
Okay.
And we're on this top loop right now.
Okay.
And we're about halfway. So I think it might actually be better to go that way.
So back down the hill.
You know best.
You said it should be a hike in and hike out, but like for a dual sport.
So like for that, yeah, y'all could totally come run these roads and all that stuff.
Right.
On the motos.
Yeah, for sure.
So how long of a loop is it about?
So this one's probably like 3 miles. The other one's probably like closer to 4.
So if we did like sort of like a technical
That's what
dual sport motorcycle route.
Yeah, oh yeah, you could have like an intermediate,
Yeah.
more advanced. You could do all kinds of little trails and stuff through. And
Yeah.
and the thing is this is one of the maintained roads.
Yeah.
There are many unmaintained roads all over this place. There used to be somewhere on this place is a mine of some sort. We don't know what it was, what kind it was, but all these roads were mining roads from in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Gold, silver, copper?
We're not sure. I've done some research. It's potentially turquoise or topaz.
Turquoise, awesome.
But there's not really any gold, and if it would be a flake gold, so they wouldn't have had a mining operation.
Okay.
But topaz, potentially, turquoise more likely.
So if we did a, let's say, dual sport route, would we mark it before the weekend? Would we put signs on
Oh
it?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Arrows and
We'd have to come kind of put up signs and
Right, because some places you
arrows
probably
follow.
don't want them to ride on, and so we need to delineate the road and what's drivable and what's not.
And I mean, and the way I feel about vehicles is if they're not destructive, they're not a problem.
Right.
We've had some crazy vehicles out here.
have you? Probably those kind of things.
We had a YouTuber. He had this. I probably got him on my Facebook still, but he had this giant blue. It looked like a semi truck that they had converted into like this off-roading machine.
Yeah.
And
Tires this big.
It was insane, and he had this hose on the side. He could throw it into any body of water and filter his own water and suck it into the thing. And they had solar panels that folded and moved, and it was insane.
To be able
And
to
it
host
was
something
like,
here, and it'll get turned out.
Yeah.
It just needs to. It needs. I've got access to at least 3 magazines that are Overland-oriented magazines. I know the publishers.
Yeah.
You know, we can get articles and stuff about it.
He's our advertising guru.
Well, and honestly, and like I was
Marketer,
telling them at the beginning, any idea of any festival can succeed with the right marketing.
Yeah.
Are these yours? Yeah.
This is Petey, a rescue horse. Looks like his knee had a problem. Hi.
Whatever they want to do.
Hi.
This is Cardi. She says,
Do you ever ride them?
no,
No, none of them.
no, we know that dog.
They won't be. He said they won't be afraid of the dog, babe.
Hi there. Hi. So this one, tell us about this horse.
So this is Senora. She was Johnny Depp's horse from the movie The Lone Ranger.
Really?
When we bought this place, the guy who owned it, his wife was her attorney, or his attorney, and it was her horse, and it came with the ranch when we bought it.
Wow.
And that's okay. He's the youngest male. He's the only one that's still a little on me. You see, he's got. We rescued him. You see his neck.
Look at Damon.
He was literally starving. Hey, come here. He was starving.
Got it. Come on, boy. Whoa.
No, we're not cutting any trees, and I'm like,
Unbelievable.
It'd only be like,
I know.
even just maybe those 3 right there.
Totally agree with you.
Reach into the bar, huh?
What an amazing property.
Well, we don't have She's little. Okay, I got her.
With some fly fishing workshops down there on that pond.
So that's one. And then
This gorgeous green valley here.
So basically, there's 2 spring. I've got the ram pumps. I've got the concrete. I've got 2 storage units next to Joe, totally full of my concrete to build these hot springs with. It's 50-pound bags. Yeah. And I'm trying.
So right now we're going to walk up and take a look at a 200-year-old sweat lodge that is on this property. And every summer, there's a local Native American man who hosts sweat lodge ceremonies here all summer long.
But anyway, so this is where the sweat gets built every year.
So every year they build the sweat lodge right here.
This is the actual pit where the stones go. This is the altar fire, which this blows my mind that the leaves build up on the place they pray in a perfect circle like that. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, it is weird.
It is. And then this is the actual stone fire. So what happens is these are the earth people. They are the people of wisdom. And so during a sweat, they'll determine how many rounds they're going to have. 4, 5, 6 rounds, whatever. How many stones are going to be involved in each of those rounds. Each time it normally gets a little bit more intense. So you start with like 4, then go to 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, blah, blah. And then the last one is for the spirits. So they run one final sweat without anybody in it for the spirits. So then what happens is each time a stone breaks, it gets put into this pile. And this pile is hundreds of years of these stones breaking.
Wow.
Over the years that have happened. So what happens is they take the stones, they pray over each stone, they cleanse it at the altar, they do the sage and all that, then they put it in to the ceremony fire, and they put all the rocks in a nice little pile. That's firewood. They build this big fire, they get it burning hot, hot, hot until it's just the rocks. And then they take the shovel, they get however many stones, they pray over it, they come in and then they bring it into the sweat, and everybody sits on a circle around right here.
This is outside, this is inside?
This is inside, this is all outside.
It's a dome.
And you have the fire attendant who's actually running and doing the prayers. You have the lodge attendant, which is Happy Bear, who's doing the prayers inside and all that and controlling the water and the heat. And there's one door and an escape hatch on the back if something happens. But they control all the light and everything, the heat inside with this door. So he'll open it, and that's like your only breath of fresh air. And then they bring in the stones, and it's like hot, hot, hot. And then he does his prayer, sings a song, pours the water, and it fills the whole thing with steam. And then after about 10 seconds, he opens the door, lets some of the steam out, and you get this like cooling sensation. And it's this roller coaster of hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, all through the prayers and all that. And then you come out and you drink water, and you have your support people who have food and are praying with you and for you, and it's this whole deal. And they sing and they dance.
Yeah, that was my question.
So it's normally 2 days.
Whoa.
Yeah, they come the night before, and they have like their dinner and their ceremonies.
Each sweat, though, is how long?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So each round is about 5 minutes, but the whole process lasts about an hour.
So there you have it. I'm hoping that my Team 4X members will get involved in this event, and we'll have a pretty big attendance of that event next year, and get some backing from the state of New Mexico, from the Colfax County, from the village of Angel Fire and the other villages of the area, including Eagle Nest and Red River, and get everyone involved in this event and bring a nice group of outdoor adventure loving, nature loving people out for just a really wonderful experience in the Angel Fire area for next year. And I really feel like my background and expertise could be of great value to the community of Angel Fire, to bring some exposure to the community and help in creating prosperity for the local people there. We found a nice place to sit and have a picnic today on Coyote Creek, which is on the southern end of the Moreno Valley. Looks like there might be a deep enough pool to swim in right there. Measuring the depth here. Deep enough? Looks like out here, there's some deep spots where you could sit on flat rocks. Nice, we're gonna set up our Helinox chairs. It's really such a beautiful day today. The aspen leaves are reflecting the sun so beautifully. I'm sitting here on Coyote Creek, which is a beautiful creek that drops down at the southern end of the Moreno Valley. I decided to get up this morning and go out to the property and walk the property. As I mentioned earlier, I'm still waiting to close escrow. It should close next week. When I originally signed a contract, the original closing date was June 17th. We thought maybe it would close sooner, but it hasn't. But it should be something that's happening this coming week. But I wanted to talk about another subject that I had on my list of things to share with all of you. And I'm sitting here digging down to the bottom of this creek here and picking up rocks, like this awesome flat rock right here. And it reminds me of my new partner, Heather, my new love. And I've shared a little bit of her in my videos lately. I haven't mentioned her, but she has been in a couple of my videos. She was in the Jeep video this past week. There will come a time when I really formally introduce her. And I have to say that I've been around the block a few times, and I know what it is that I'm looking for. And I am just so delighted to share that I have this amazing, beautiful love relationship blossoming in my life. And in fact, I have to say, I'm out here pursuing my dreams to build this cabin in the woods and live a life of beauty and simplicity and nature submersion. Yet, there's really no better way to share those kinds of experiences, your dreams, than to share it with somebody that you love deeply and who loves you deeply. And I have to say that I believe I've found that. I found a mirror in my new partner, Heather. And as we go forward with my channel, I'll be introducing her more into the videos. I'm sure you'll see a lot more of her, because about a week ago, I went down to Phoenix and surprised her. I flew down out of Albuquerque, and we had originally spent a little time together when I was still in Phoenix before I moved up here. And we met in a little ice cream shop for the first time. And so I surprised her by connecting with her sister and negotiating a deal with her sister to have her sister meet us at that little ice cream shop in Phoenix. And she walked in the door to get her favorite ice cream, which is Blue Moon, and they serve Blue Moon there. And so I had the manager take the Blue Moon out of the freezer and put it in the back room. And so when she came in, she wanted her Blue Moon ice cream. And so the manager had to go to the back room to bring the Blue Moon up to the front. And I was the one that brought it up and asked if there was somebody that wanted Blue Moon. And I totally caught her off guard, and she was really, really surprised. It was really special. Well, while I was in Phoenix, we packed up her things and I helped her move up here. And so when the right person comes along, you just know. And it doesn't really take that much thinking about it. Heather is an adventurer through and through. She's a beautiful soul. She has just so much talent. She's a musician. She plays guitar. She plays piano. She's a fantastic nature photographer. And if you get a chance to look at her Instagram at some point, which I'll share in a link down below, you'll see that through her photography, she expresses herself and she creates stories that inspire people. And she inspires people every day in a similar way that I do in my photography and on this YouTube channel. So we are very much mirror image people, and we're both very loving and caring, and we both are really interested in the same, achieving the same goals and pursuing the same dreams. When I met her, she was already looking for property in Pagosa Springs to buy a little cabin in the woods. She and her sister have a salon in Phoenix called Rove, and it's located up in Norterra, on Main Street in Norterra. And when she decided to come up here, she decided to pare back her business and offer her clients over to her sister, and that's exactly what she did. And so I helped her relocate up here. But Heather is just a remarkable person. And to be honest, I wouldn't settle for anything less. And I just am so pleased and delighted to be able to share who she is with all of you at some point on this channel. And I really feel like her addition to this channel and the content that will be created with her in it will will be inspiring for all of you, no differently than the kind of content that I share with all of you. And she'll be on the property with me renovating the cabin, and we're going to be preparing to live in it together over the winter. And it's going to be a very interesting experience. The cabin is it's a hunter's cabin. It's not a 4-season cabin right now. And so we'll be working on that together, and some of my Team 4X members that plan on coming up to help work on the property will get to meet her face to face and be a part of that experience. And I'm just really, really fortunate to have met her, to have the ability to experience who she is as a person, and to watch our relationship grow and blossom. And I do truly believe that there's a great deal that this woman has to teach me. And I believe that it is a mutual experience. I believe it's a mirror. And I am just so delighted to be able to share who she is with all of you going forward. So today we decided to drop down to Cimarron Canyon. Cimarron Canyon is a beautiful canyon that drops down from the town of Eagle Nest, New Mexico. Eagle Nest is a small town in the middle of the Moreno Valley, just north of Angel Fire. And in Eagle Nest is the Eagle Nest Lake State Park. There's a dam there that creates that lake, and below that dam, it drops down into Cimarron Canyon, which is where I'm at right now. And one of the things that I just truly love about Cimarron Canyon is it's very similar to some of the canyons and places I've been in Arizona, such as Oak Creek Canyon outside of Sedona. The big difference, though, is that there's almost no people here. And I've said this before, this region is very unpopulated. The closest major metropolis is Albuquerque. That's about 2.5 to 3 hours drive south of here. And there's only about 600,000 to 1 million people in that region. So it's really not a populated area. There's beautiful campgrounds along this creek here. And I can tell you that pretty much any time of the year, if you come camping in the Cimarron Canyon, you will have probably no problem finding a place to camp. There are people camping in some of these campsites, but it's very unpopulated. Another really cool thing about this area, and up in Eagle Nest in particular, there are fly fishing guide services, and they bring you mostly down into Cimarron Canyon here to do fly fishing along this creek. And that's definitely something that I've got my eye on for the future in this region. And one of the interesting things about Cimarron that you'll find is Philmont. And Philmont is a national Boy Scout camp. It's a major destination for Boy Scout troops to come from all over the country, take courses there to gain their badges and so forth. It is a truly wholesome place. It's beautiful rolling green grass hills. The highways are all lined with gigantic oak trees. There's horses grazing in the green fields. There's antelope. It's just a truly exceptional place. So the last thing I wanted to share with all of you on this video is the fact that I had something really truly exceptional happen in the last 2 weeks. And I've shared a little bit about this on social media, and some of you already know, but I was successful after a 1.5 year effort with my intellectual property attorneys, working with the United States Patent and Trademark Office to be able to have the 4Xpedition logo, 4Xpedition name, and the X icon that all of you are so familiar with be registered trademarks of my parent company, Sync Media LLC. So the way I've got it structured is that 4Xpedition is a brand owned by Sync Media. So whatever revenue comes in for 4Xpedition rolls into Sync Media LLC. And so I was successful in having the United States Patent and Trademark Office recognize those icons as registered trademarks of Sync Media LLC. And that is a really big deal when you're working on building a brand, especially a national or international brand like I'm trying to create. So my icon and my logos and my company name are now protected by the United States of America law having to do with patents and trademarks. And that's a really big deal as I grow this brand and create products and create clothing and whatever else I decide to create, because when I do that, that icon being protected adds a tremendous amount of value to my brand. And if I ever decide down the road that I might want to sell 4Xpedition to someone else, that icon is registered and would be sold with the brand. And so when I work with national organizations, when I work with national retailers and people like that, they will take me more seriously now that I have a brand and an icon and a trademark that is protected by the United States of America. All right, my friends, I think that's it for this episode of 4Xpedition Adventure. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and you got caught up on some of the things going on in my life. If you haven't become a subscriber, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Of course, be sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when videos go live. And if you consider yourself to be an adventurer, consider joining Team 4X by going to 4xpedition.com/join to learn more. Until the next time, take care.